Hello and welcome to this session today. So we're going to be looking at how you might find yourself sort of moving around when you're doing sun salutations. So do you notice that when you come into down dog, you want to adjust your feet, or you might want to adjust your hands, perhaps when you come into plank. So we're just going to look at kind of some small techniques that you can use to really understand and connect with how it's meant to feel to stay within the same sort of parameters of your mat throughout the sun salutations. I'm going to be using the Shivanda sun salutations as an example today. So you've got the step back and the step forward. The same thing can happen in your more in your vinyasa style Ashtanga sun salutations as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Just beginning in a child's pose. So child's pose should be the exact width between your knees and your wrists for downward dog. So if you bring your knees about mat distance apart to start with, big toes together, bring your hips back to your heels, look up and really try to find some length from your hip points. So right from the hips all the way up the sides of the body to the armpits. Walk the hands perhaps a little bit further forward, spread the fingertips wide. Just check in that the hands are parallel. Start to bring your inner parts of the elbows up to the ceiling. Draw the shoulder blades back and bring the forehead down. So this is an active version of Balasana, child's pose. Keep pressing through the fingertips and hollowing out through the very center of the palm. Lengthen your tailbone back to your heels. So you want to feel like you're stretching forward, but you're stretching back at the same time. So you're building strength and resistance within the body. Then just bring your gaze up between your thumbs. So you're going to come to lift the hips, tuck your toes, and then press the knees all the way up into down dog. Okay, so it should be taking some time here if it's your first down dog, just to walk out the legs. Try and find that action of drawing the tops of the shoulders round towards the armpits, so away from the ears, and the inner parts of the elbows forwards. Press into the hands and make sure you don't lock out through the elbows if that's your tendency. Keep the pressure in the hands. Inhale, bring your gaze forward. So you're going to come up onto your tiptoes and roll into plank. So this should be the same distance here. Really press into your hands. So you'll notice at the same time you have that room here to move backwards and forwards. So in your more vinyasa style, or if you're lowering through chaturanga, you're going to lift the weight forwards. We're going to keep pressing back through the heels, lifting the backs of the knees up and the lower three ribs towards the ceiling. Lift the space in between the shoulder blades. Inhale, lift up through the hips and come back into down dog. So you can move through this as many times as you wish. Maybe just part of the warm-up before you do Sunsals, just to really kind of get that grounding and connection and where your feet and your hands are in relationship to your mat. Okay, so once you've done a few of these, keeping the strength of the core, so the abdominals, navel drawing to the back body, bring your gaze forward and then we'll walk the feet all the way up. Okay, so we're just going to come up to stand. So either take your hands to your hips or roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. And then find yourself with hip distance stance with your feet. Spread the toes wide. So grounding down through the ball of the big toe, ball of the small toe, the inner and the outer edge of the heel. So those are 4 points of reference And then from there, the arches are lifting up into the kneecaps, and the kneecaps are slightly drawing up into your hips. At the same time, you're opening your pelvis up. Roll the shoulders down the back and face the palms forward. Find some height through the back of the body as the tips of the shoulder blades keep drawing down to the hips. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, bring the palms together. We'll find some length through the spine by extending the arms forward and then up. Exhale, turn the palms to face the front of the room and really hinge from the hip creases. Fold over the legs. Bring the palms to frame your feet. And we're going to step back with the right foot. So the key here is to step back as far as you can. So you're in this quite stable lunge position, and then you bring your knee and top of the foot down. So extend your sternum forward and keep the shoulder blades drawing down the back. So there's this feeling of the shoulders drawing away from one another, right from the collarbones. Plant the palms and then tuck the right toes to extend the knee. Step back into plank. So nice and strong in your plank. From here, I'm going to exhale, take your knees, and then bend your elbows towards your waist, take your chest and your chin down, and keep your sit bones lifted. Inhale, slide the tops of the feet away. Think about extending up through the spine, press into the feet so the kneecaps lift up into the thighs, thighs active. Inhale to lift the sternum forward. Keep the shoulders down the back and no weight in your hands here. So just using the muscles in the back body. Bring the chin down, retuck your toes. And from here, there's a couple of options. So if you're reasonably used to this sun salutation, you might press up through reverse plank. You might take a half plank push-up by keeping the torso stable, pressing up, or you might just come into tabletop. Make sure that the lower back feels happy, whichever variation you use, and then come into down dog. So the feet should be in the same position. Press into your hands, hips lifting high. So probably the main thing you're going to feel to start with, if you're used to moving the feet, is that the stance feels too wide, as in the feet are too far away from the hands. It feels like the arms are reaching. But this is going to help to build strength over time, but also the muscles will get used to this stance. So whatever the body is used to is what it kind of defaults to. So when you change it, it kind of confuses and mixes things up for you. But that's really good because it's challenging the neurological pathways in the brain to relate to the body. I'm going to bring the gaze forward and then start to shift the hips through. Pick up your right toes and step them in between the hands. So back into that low lunge position. Lift your chest. Plant down through the front foot. So a common thing here is for this knee to kind of slightly come out to either side, which can be a reflection of what's happening in your foot. So try and keep the knee centralized over your heel, facing the front of the room. Retract the shoulder blades down, sides of the neck long. Retuck the left toes, elevate the knee, and step to hip distance apart to fold. Inhale, so you might bend your knees slightly here, keep the spine straight as you extend the arms forward, come all the way up. You might do a small back bend here. Take the emphasis to this space between your shoulder blades rather than your low back. So really engaging the core back, extend up through the heart, and then exhale, bring the hands down and release. So do the same for the other side. Nice deep breath in. Firm through the legs, lifting up the energy from the feet. Exhale, bring the palms together. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Turn the palms to face forward, hinge from your hips, and fully fold over your legs. Step back with your left leg as far as you can. So remember, that's the key here. Send your knee and the top of the foot down. Low lunge. Active also through the back foot here. We want the stomach to be drawing up, so it's coming away from the thigh. Send the palms down, tuck the left toes, and step back into plank. So try and keep the control as we transition. Exhale, knees. Keep the stomach firm, chest and chin, hips slightly lifted. Inhale, slide the tops of the feet away. Anchor through all 10 toenails, kneecaps lift into thighs, and extend the heart forward. Just keep the gaze neutral here, so the neck is staying long and the shoulders aren't creeping up to the ears. Exhale, bring the chin down, retuck your toes, and transition whichever way you want to. So I'm just going to come into tabletop and then down dog. Deep breath in. Press into the hands and establish strength in the arms. So the more you connect with your hands here, the more you can find length through the arms and also drawing them back into the shoulder sockets and that lift through the spine. So that's probably one of the key things here as well. So if you feel like your hands are sliding away from you, it probably means you need to spread your fingertips wider and have more of a connection with the hand. Deep breath in, long breath out. Inhale, bring your gaze forward. So this time the left foot is going to lift, shift the weight through and step in between the palms. Send your right knee down and top of the foot, come up onto your fingertips. Draw the sternum diagonally up along with the gaze, back of the neck long, shoulders down. Retuck the right toes and then come up to hip distance into fold. Inhale, extend the arms forward, come all the way up. Maybe that small lift through your heart, strengthen your abdominals back. And exhale, bring the palms down and release. Okay, so that concludes our sun salutation 101, if you like, today. If you would like any more tips or tricks on this, feel free to give me a message and just let me know. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Becky from Sanskar Yoga and hope to see you soon.